Hey, fifth graders. This is so exciting. We're on session 3 already. Can you believe it? In our reading unit, we've talked about setting. We've talked about learning alongside the main character, and I hope you've been practicing those things as you read your fantasy books. So now that we're in session 3, we're going to talk a little bit about problems. And it's kind of funny. I always think of this lesson as like almost a math lesson, but not. Problems multiply in fantasy. So back in the day when you were reading books, and even some of the books you're reading now, you'll find that there's a problem and there's a solution. Like you learn that pretty young, that there's always a problem and then you'll have a solution by the end. But as you get into more complex books, and fantasy included, you're going to find that it actually is problem, and then maybe another problem comes, and then maybe a change happens that maybe kind of takes care of a problem, but then another problem arises because of that, and these problems can grow until they're somewhat resolved at the end of the book. If they're not completely resolved, then usually you know that there's going to be a second book and a third book, and there's a series. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to show you a really simple tool that I like to use in my reader's notebook that I'd like you to use too when you track the problems for your characters in your book. And so I'm going to give you a chance. I'm going to show you the graphic organizer, the tool that I want you to kind of use some version of this. And if you need to hit pause once I show it, you can, and then you can quickly sketch it out yourself and then come back. But this is the organizer that I think works pretty well when looking for problems. So you've got the character, you put their name here, and the problem or problems, solution or some kind of change or changes or solutions, and by the end. This won't be filled out till the end. Okay, so it's just 4 parts, and that's really it. Of course, at the top of my jot, I'm putting the name of the book and the date. Okay, so if you need to push pause, do that now and go ahead and make this graphic organizer. So when you have this graphic organizer made, then you can just quickly go into reading with this alongside you. That might mean that you read ahead, you read on. Sometimes you're like me and it's like, what was the last chapter about? And I kind of need to skim it or reread it and collect some of the problems that the character is going through. So we have the Paper Bag Princess. That was the book that we've used. You're also reading Rowan of Rin. We could have used either of those. I'm just going to use the Paper Bag Princess for today. And the Paper Bag Princess. So there's a character, Elizabeth. We met her at the very beginning. And so that's why I wrote her name down already. If you saw, I already have Elizabeth in there. It's good to track other characters because they're important too. So we know that there's Prince Ronald. And as silly as it might sound, the dragon. We might want to use both of those. So I'm just going to quickly write their names. I have Elizabeth, and I'm just going to write Prince Ronald under character. And I'd want you to be doing something like this too. So I've got, it's going to be upside down, but it'll be fine. So we got Elizabeth. I'm going to leave space because I'm assuming she's going to have a lot of things that I might write about. Prince Ronald. And the dragon. Okay, so these are my 3 characters that I'm going to kind of track the problems. If you feel like this is too much, just practice tracking your main character first. You can fill in the minor characters later, but at least do the main character. I'm going to read a little bit, and as I go, I'm going to start filling in my graphic organizer. And this is the kind of work that I want you to do as well with your books. So she had her life planned out, remember? Bam. Everything changes. Elizabeth decided to chase the dragon and get Ronald back. That's the problem. Elizabeth needs to get Ronald back. That's her problem, I should say. So Elizabeth, I'm just going to write, not a complete sentence, needs to get Ronald back because the dragon took him. She looked everywhere for something to wear, but the only thing she could find that was not burnt was a paper bag. So she put on the paper bag and followed the dragon. He was easy to follow because he left a trail of burnt forest and horses' bones. I could write here, nothing to wear. Solution, she put a paper bag on. And I actually think I'm going to write that down because I think it actually might be more important than it seems. Nothing to wear is the problem, but very quickly she solved it by, I'm going to put it right across, wore a paper bag. Isn't that crazy? She's smart. I think it tells us something about her. She might be a princess, but she'll wear a paper bag. Finally, Elizabeth came to a cave with a large door that had a huge knocker on it. She took hold of the knocker and banged on the door. The dragon stuck his nose out the door and said, "Wow, a princess. I love to eat princesses, but I've already eaten a whole castle today. I am very busy, dragon. Come back tomorrow." He slammed the door so fast that Elizabeth almost got her nose caught. Thinking about the dragon, is there any problem right now? Besides, he has a full stomach. I don't know if that's important. We'll have to see. Elizabeth grabbed the knocker and banged on the door again. The dragon stuck his nose out the door and said, "Go away. I love to eat princesses, but I've already eaten a whole castle today. I am a very busy dragon. Come back tomorrow." "Wait," shouted Elizabeth. "Is it true that you are the smartest and fiercest dragon in the whole world?" "Yes," said the dragon. "Is it true," said Elizabeth, "that you can burn up 10 forests with your fiery breath?" "Oh, yes," said the dragon, and he took a huge deep breath and breathed out so much fire that he burnt up 50 forests. Thinking about the dragon right now. Does he have a problem? I think he has a problem that he doesn't know about. I think I almost want to write about him that he's kind of a show-off. He's kind of the word is like arrogant. He's a show-off. Okay? Elizabeth, she's quite clever. She's up to something. So he just burned up 50 forests. "Fantastic," said Elizabeth. And the dragon took another huge breath and breathed out so much fire that he burnt up 100 forests. "Magnificent," said Elizabeth, and the dragon took another huge breath, but this time nothing came out. The dragon didn't even have enough fire to cook a meatball. Elizabeth said, "Dragon, is it true that you can fly around the world in just 10 seconds?" "Why, yes," said the dragon, and jumped up and flew all the way around the world in just 10 seconds. He was very tired when he got back, but Elizabeth shouted, "Fantastic! Do it again!" So the dragon jumped up and flew around the whole world in just 20 seconds. When he got back, he was too tired to talk, and he lay down and went straight to sleep. I don't know if there's a solution right now with the dragon being like a show-off, but he's too tired and worn out. Too tired and worn out. Oh, Elizabeth. Elizabeth whispered very softly, "Hey, dragon." The dragon didn't move at all. She lifted up the dragon's ear and put her head right inside. She shouted as loud as she could, "Hey, dragon!" The dragon was so tired, he didn't even move. Elizabeth walked right over the dragon and opened the door to the cave. Now remember, she's trying to get Prince Ronald back. Like, she's been working on it this whole time. She's been tricking the dragon, right? There was Prince Ronald. He looked at her and said, "Elizabeth, you are a mess. You smell like ashes. Your hair is all tangled, and you are wearing a dirty old paper bag. Come back when you are dressed like a real princess." So her job was to get Prince Ronald back. A change? Ronald doesn't approve of Elizabeth. She's not princessy enough. So, how does it end? "Ronald," said Elizabeth, "your clothes are really pretty and your hair is very neat. You look like a real prince, but you are a bum. They didn't get married after all." And that's the end of the Paper Bag Princess. So by the end, what could we say about Elizabeth? She needed to get Ronald back. She had nothing to wear. She wore a paper bag. Ronald doesn't approve of Elizabeth. So by the end, she's happy with just being her. Okay. So I've tracked Elizabeth, a little bit of the dragon. Didn't do much with Prince Ronald. I probably could go back and look again. I don't know if it matters. I think I can find, especially really a theme through here if I wanted to. Okay. Because that's what we're always trying to think about too, is what's the author teaching us through these different changes in our characters and the problems they face. So readers, today and every day when you're reading your fantasy books, I want you to track the problems that your main characters and even some of your minor characters go through. And we'll talk about this more in teams later today or later this week. Can't wait to see you guys then. Bye.